It's time to get your geek on with Dave Vermillion.
Warner Brothers CEO, and I'm going to butcher the name. I'm sorry. I am not a linguist by any stretch of the imagination. Warner Brothers CEO Kevin Tsujihara?
Tusahira?
I think it's Tsujihara.
To the Google.
Kevin.
Probably Tsujihara. The T's probably silent.
Is it?
Could be. Kevin has officially stepped down. And this comes after weeks and months of an investigation that's been going on against him involving, you guessed it, pay-for-play sexual scandal with an actress.
Which actress would that be?
It would be Charlotte Kirk from Ocean's 8, the all-female Ocean's movie that came out.
Right.
Apparently, for several years, he agreed to get her a few acting gigs if, she would act like she cared toward him. You get the idea. I don't want to. You get the idea.
Still a family show.
She is about half his age, so I'm just saying. This is a quote directly from the Warner Brothers CEO himself. Quote, "I acknowledge I may have made some poor choices, and I'm sorry for that. But I've learned from my mistakes since then." No, wait. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not.
That's from her.
That's right. That's from her. I apologize. She said, I acknowledge I may have made some poor choices, and I'm sorry for that. But I've learned from my mistakes since then and grown a lot as a person, as a woman, and as a professional actor. I just can't stay quiet anymore. I feel compelled to speak out. Now, this is the guy. The CEO was singled out as part of the problem at the DCEU. He stuck to his guns when it came to Zack Snyder. He was really in Zack's corner when it came to the way the movies were developed, and apparently now much to their detriment. And so now he was also seen as part of the resurgence of the DCEU. He was responsible for bringing on Patty Jenkins, who directed Wonder Woman, and James Wan, who directed the billion-dollar film Aquaman. So it seems like he had started to kind of turn the corner, and now he's on the unemployment line. Well, let's face it, he's not. He's fine.
He doesn't mind. He still has billions.
He probably has $100 million. Oh man, I'm going to get fired. I might as well step down clause in his contract. So.
Oh darn, you fired me.
So this, I'm wondering. It really depends on how involved he was. I mean, if Greg Popovich steps down from the Spurs, that's huge. That's huge because he is involved in everything that goes on with the franchise. If some vice president up in an office somewhere steps down, is it really that big a deal? How involved was Kevin in the resurgence of the DCEU? That's going to be, that's only half the story. The other half of the story is who are they going to get to replace him? Who are they going to promote? Who are they going to bring in? I wish it were me, but it's not. And what will happen to the DCEU now that this guy has stepped down? Because it looked like the DCEU was on the rise again. They had Wonder Woman, they had Patty Jenkins, they've got James Wan, they had Aquaman, you got Shazam, which is getting some good buzz. So, maybe we can get there. And it looked like they were heading the right direction. And now this guy has to step down.
So basically, you're wondering if lightning can strike twice with Shazam.
I'm wondering just how big, because not a lot of people are talking about this, and I'm wondering if it's because he just wasn't that involved in the DCEU. Some of the news reports say that he was very, very into the DCEU, and some say that he was kind of hands off. He would hire the people to work on this, and then he would just say, go do your own thing.
Speaking Kojima, so if you don't know who Kojima is, he is a very big name in video games. He does a lot of horror video games. And we'll get a bunch of trailers that have nothing to do with the movie, and you'll still 5 years later never know what the movie's about.
Okay,
that's about describes his work.
Yeah.
So that's who we need, because it's not like they're doing anything else. So
that's true. So I'm very curious to see how this is going to impact the DCEU going forward. It's either going to be enormous, or it's not going to be much at all.
I don't think it's going to be much at all, because who has ultimate say-so of the directors, honestly?
It sounds like he did.
So he did. So I mean,
this would be the equivalent of Kevin Feige,
he's the boss of all. Well, he was because Time Warner just finished their buyout to AT&T. AT&T now owns Warner Media, formerly known as Time Warner.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
So that's why DirecTV is changing like crazy.
Oh yeah, they own DirecTV, don't they?
They
I didn't know that.
AT&T owns DirecTV, and now they own Time Warner.
So now that Warner
own
Brothers
everything.
doesn't have anybody at the helm, this is the equivalent of like Kevin Feige or Kathleen Kennedy stepping down.
So this is like the villains are running the show now.
Well, I mean, right now it's rudderless. There's nobody at the helm. There's nobody running the show right now.
I wonder though. Like that's weird. Just call Jason Momoa. Have him go do it.
Jason
Hey, man, can you
Momoa
just,
run the
just
whole
do
thing.
this for a minute? You got this, right? I mean, think about it. All they have to do is the first 5 seconds of every DC movie is put him up there, shirtless, covered in water. Bam, they'd made a few million.
Okay, there you go.
That's all he has to do.
That'll work. On the other side of the scandal coin here, we have some allegations of domestic abuse going on, and usually we don't talk about scandal on the show. It's not like this is a politics show or a sports show or something like that. But man, it started raining and then pouring on us here. So back in 2016, there were some allegations of domestic abuse charges against Johnny Depp. According to Amber Heard, her now ex-husband would hit her. At one point, she took a video of him flinging a wine glass in a fit of rage. She said this would happen when Johnny would lose his temper and would lash out at her verbally and physically. So they divorced. That's gone. And now Depp is suing her. The lawsuit lists incidents of Amber's alleged abuse against him since the start of the marriage, including punching and kicking and then staging the attacks against herself. So she would basically say that, no, I'm going to tell people that you hit me and so on and so forth. And it's the Me Too movement and they're going to believe me instead of you. Yeah. There is one thing here. Some type of online periodical called The Blast managed to obtain a photo of Johnny Depp having a black eye, which was caused by Amber Heard after he was late for her 30th birthday dinner on April 21st. This is alleged by The Blast in the photo that was. Another instance detailed that she threw a vodka bottle at Johnny Depp, resulting in a hand injury that nearly severed a finger. He had to go to the hospital and have it was like, I don't want to get too gross here, but let's just say nearly severed and had to be reattached.
So
I just did
you've
that.
met my lady friend.
Yes, I have.
So if it was a significant birthday,
Yes.
as 30 is, 40 is, 50 is,
Sure.
and I was late, do you think I'd get a black eye?
No, you would have a gunshot.
Pretty much. Yeah, there'd be a GSW involved there.
Well, that's true, but we don't know Amber Heard, and we're joking. Obviously, we're exaggerating, and I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't in light of what's going on here. But I mean, wow. So it's kind of a he said she said at this point. He's suing her for I think $50 million because she wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post detailing this abuse, and now all of a sudden, allegedly he's saying that cost him the Pirates of the Caribbean job.
Well, and that's the thing too. Like from what I've heard, it's $50 million for defamation of character from the lawsuit I had read on a while back. And then I don't know exactly, but apparently he's given over like surveillance footage, photos, like all this stuff.
And there were like witnesses to some of this abuse. And
I heard, I could be wrong, like 80 something pieces of evidence against her.
wow.
And I'm like, that's ridiculous. But it just shows that you can't believe everything you hear.
Right.
If someone has evidence of like, hey, you almost cut my finger off. Well, yeah, you're kind of crazy now.
Yeah.
That's the time he didn't want somebody to pull his finger.
Please don't pull it.
Wow.
Oh, no, it's gone. And I think what also kind of gets me is I don't know if y'all remember back when this first started, the allegation, and he was in Fantastic Beasts, and there was a whole group of women who were trying to get him out of that movie because of that allegation.
Because of the allegation against
Yeah.
Amber Heard.
And
now-
normally there's just a large group of women out to get him, but that's a different issue.
That's true. So his reputation was in tatters for a while, and we know. Again, I don't want to get too political, but as soon as something big breaks against somebody and they're in the limelight, they're in the spotlight, and there are allegations of domestic abuse or sexual abuse or something like that, that person's career is destroyed.
Yeah, you're done.
I mean, that it's very, very hard to come back from that. And then amazingly enough, a lot of these allegations tend to go away.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to say that you shouldn't believe victims, you shouldn't believe women or anything, or even men, or anybody really that voices these accusations. We're just saying you shouldn't jump the gun. A lot of this is still going to be settled out in court over the next weeks, months, maybe even years. I mean, we're talking about things that happened back in 2016, but at the same time, Wow.
There's 3 sides to every story: her side, his side, and
The truth.
Now, one thing we didn't talk about was possibly Disney jumping the James Gunn, because reportedly James Gunn is back under Guardians of the Galaxy.
This is very
I'm so
interesting, considering what James Gunn was fired for originally by Disney, and now he's back.
Back again.
Yeah.
He's back.
I mean, the tweets that he put out there that he got fired for.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised, but everyone kept saying that was him a long time ago. That's not him now, and a lot of the actors were taking Gunn's side.
Well, that's true. The actors did stick by him, but I thought. See, I'm getting mixed messages here because, you know what, I don't want to get political. I really don't. But when the Kavanaugh thing happened, when all the hearings went on, you know, a lot of what happened there was 20, 30, 35 years ago. And we were told that that was very significant into his character and what he would mean, you know, going forward. And now we're told that James Gunn, well, what he tweeted all those years ago, which was like, I think it was 10 or 12 years ago, and that doesn't matter because he's changed and he's a completely different person. So it's either one or the other, and I'm not sure which anymore.
So we're not going political, right?
No, we're not. No, absolutely not.
All right.
Gunny back.
All right. Gotta unturn the key there. Hang on one moment.
Gunny back.
So on the one hand, I'm not. I know there are some people that are over the moon about James Gunn returning to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm not one of them. Now, I'm not condemning this either. All right. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter in my life one way or the other.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, I'm still going to have to deal with 410 traffic. I still have to pick up dry cleaning. I still have to go to work. So it doesn't, you know, it doesn't make a hill of beans in this crazy world. But
you didn't win the Powerball last night?
Amazingly enough, I did not. I did not. That's craziness.
I'd want to direct a movie if we did. We should go be like, hey, look, I won the Powerball, $10 million. I want to be the director.
Or, you know, casting agent or writer or something. You know what I want to be? I want to be the guy that watches the rough cut of the movie and says, this is stupid.
Aaron.
Write it like this. What is wrong with you people?
Aaron can't be the casting director.
Why
he's single.
Oh, he's because he's single. No, I can't do that.
I need your number here, just so I can call you after the show. Make sure that you're doing all right.
Yeah. So the James Gunn. Now it's very interesting. The Disney Fox deal just closed on the morning of the 21st. I think.
Yes, it did.
12:02 a.m.
And
technically speaking. So now Disney owns like 35 or 38% of the domestic box office. I don't know how that got past the antitrust guys, but now they've also brought back James Gunn, who was mired in scandal. The CEO of Warner Brothers steps down because of scandal. And now we have these two tremendous actors. Amber Heard played Mira in Aquaman. And Johnny Depp, I mean, is Johnny Depp. I mean,
Exactly.
And now we have this. And it's terrible. You don't know what to believe, who to believe, when to believe, or if you miss a certain story, then maybe you miss an important fact that could change everything.
It's a mess right now, like you said, and that's the whole thing. Like right now, it's gonna get settled out of court more than likely, no matter what.
Yeah.
Because neither one of them are gonna want to actually take it to court. No one's gonna want to actually go through all that. It's gonna get settled out of the court. None of us are gonna know what's gonna really happened. Move on at this point.
That's true.
That's kind of where I think society needs to come to. We need to stop worrying about everyone else's lives, worry about our own. Like these are just actors. They're just people.